So I'm gonna build a fire lay that's basically the reverse a log cabin style. And what I want to do is I'm gonna try to take my bigger pieces here and get them started as a foundation, more or less. I kind of want them to sit somewhat evenly. And these are kind of too big for this pan, but it should work out nonetheless. And then I just want to stack some smaller pieces across this way. You know, there's more specific configuration. I'll come back and redo a video on this more properly, but I just kind of want to make a platform using the pieces that I have. So like this. So then what I will do then is I have some tinder that I'll put on top, and as the tinder burns, it'll catch the larger pieces below, all right, and it'll just kind of burn down this way, all right. So I'm choosing this one because trying to make a teepee in this pan is not going to work. Trying to do a star is not going to work, I mean, unless the pieces were big enough, right? But this, for my intensive purposes right now, should work just fine. So this is a reverse cabin, I believe. Otherwise I'll correct the term later on, but this is in a previous video that I did a long time ago, making fire by friction in the winter time. This is the fire lay that I used, so I'll reference that video below. Alright, so the tinder that I'm going to use is going to be of various types, right? So it is early fall, so like right now, if I was to go out and just look around in the woods in the background here, I can even see from here, I can see, I'm not sure what that weed is, but it's a thistle type. It's got some fluff that's coming out. The milkweed seed pods have fluff that will be inside, so there's plenty of just base tinder that you could harvest. But I'm using my go bag because I wasn't quite sure the situation I was going to be in right now at the park. So here I've got some smoke bush fluff here from a smoke bush tree, cotton, 100% cotton from Walgreens, and then this is actually dryer lint that I put in a egg carton and then filled it, saturated with tallow, so it burns quickly. So I'm going to use all of these, right? And I'm just going to use flint and steel to start. I'm not going to, I'm going to use flint and steel instead of a lighter, and I'm not going to take the time to do a hand drill or bow drill right now for this video. But anyhow, just to get things started, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to place my dryer lint fire starter here, and on top of this or around it, I'm just going to kind of lay the smoke bush tinder here. And then just to get things going, when you're using cotton, you want to kind of pick up the fluffs here, especially if you're using flint and steel, okay, or fire rod, which I've got here. And so I'm just going to kind of lay this on top, okay, and I'm just going to pick some stuff, pick some up, right? Alright, so I'm going to get, alright, I got my flint and steel out, and this is just, you know, a regular store-bought one. I actually have some tamihigane, which is raw metal that I did a video on how to smelt basically in your backyard from a class I took. Haven't been able to go and do another class on what to do with it, and one of my first projects I'd do was like to make an actual flint, a steel out of it, right? But anyways, this is what I have, and all I got to do is throw sparks into our tinder here to get this going. So I want to, just as a reminder, what I want to do is I want to lay it close, and I want to pull back on the steel part, all right, and kind of throw the sparks into the tinder, okay? There we go. And I've got some Vaseline saturated cotton here just to add an extra, just for extra longevity. Can add some around the edges there. Okay, and I'm carrying this in just an old pill bottle. just like that. And that'll the petroleum jelly that the cotton is saturated with will allow this to burn longer, and even in damp situations. I could take the smoke bush fluff or cattail fluff or milkweed fluff or thistle fluff and do the same thing. Okay, so that's just conceptually speaking, right? So the whole idea is to get my fire starter going, to get the tallow heated up properly. I could have done that directly onto the tallow by picking it off and setting that aflame, but I just wanted to have an extra backup and make sure this is going on, that this is going to ignite properly. So the tinder that I brought is burning nicely, and it should ignite the dry wood that I have set up. And then the wrapper that I put the dryer lint in, that's to keep it, dry. I'm just, it's just some plastic wrap. I'm just adding that as extra fuel that'll help keep the heat going on longer. Okay, so now what we have is the dryer lint capsule, or fire accelerant, is getting heated up, and some of the wood below it is actually catching fire. So it's just, you put your tinder up top and it's just going to burn down. Okay, and this is more for confined spaces. When I had a fireplace many years ago, this is the type of setup that I would use in the fireplace, and it worked pretty well. All right, so it looks like we've got some pretty good success here, because as you can see, the wood below is starting to catch. So this is a reverse teepee, or not teepee, excuse me, the log cabin. And the other way, obviously, reverse is you put the tinder in the middle, and then you build your log cabin. You build your log cabin on top of the tinder, and then you ignite the tinder below it, and then obviously the wood will catch flame that way. I could have done it that way too. I just chose to do it this way because it's a little unique. So now we're getting a good fire going. So this is how you kind of start. This is how you start a reverse log cabin for a fire, especially of this size. I don't want a huge one at all. All right, so I'm just making a side note of some natural, at a glance, across from where I made that fire lay, of some natural fluff I just saw in the landscape. I don't even know what this plant is. Of course, I know it's not poison ivy, but it's providing some natural fluff that would be great for tinder. Okay, so you need obviously to harvest basically all of this whole little patch here to get enough to do anything with. But with fire starting, you always start off small, very small, and then it just builds and builds. You just be patient and you build it up. So hopefully I'll be able to figure out what this plant is, but there's tons of it here in the wood line. So just wanted to make this a side note about what I was talking about tinder for making fire and fire lays from natural materials, especially in early fall as the plants start to yield. And so what you would do now is you would harvest this and collect it and keep it in a dry place or on your person, and you would you'd have it for when you needed it, like when winter time comes and you're in your hut, your teepee, your cabin, your fireplace or whatever, and you need some tinder to start with. You have it, okay? And you don't, because there's tinder available actually outside, and there's fat wood, which is pine resin rich pieces of wood that work pretty well in damp situations. But just on the fly and on a quick, it's that's kind of what nature is about. Being out in the woods is about, is observation. And even though I can't identify this plant, I know that it has some utilitarian value. So there it is, right? And like I mentioned, I know this park pretty well. I know where the milkweed is at. and things like that, right? I know where the cattails are at. So, there you go. Just some food for thought. Oh, and while traveling, if you're lost in the woods, or if you're hiking and you haven't reached your destination, but you're going to be building a fire, and you're minimally camping, or you're lost, this is the sort of thing you'd pick up and you'd put in your pocket. And even if it's a damp day, or even being rained on or misted on, right, you can actually take the damp fluff and tuck it in your clothing, and your body heat, and not next to your skin though, but if you're layered up, and your body heat will actually dry it out. I've done it, and it actually works. So there's these little nuggets of knowledge that is important to know, so that all hope is not lost. If you're out in the woods and it's rainy and you're lost, but you need to build a fire because you're probably going to be there overnight or something like that, there you go. So I hope this helps, and like, share, and subscribe.